the peaceful ship. Once, in a beautiful land by the sea they called Bountiful, a good man named Nephi felt a calling in his heart to speak with the Lord. He left the quiet camp of his family, where the tents were nestled among fruit trees, and the gentle sounds of his family's life hummed in the warm air. He began to walk toward a high mountain that stood against the vast blue sky, a silent guardian over the sea. The sun was warm on his shoulders, and a gentle breeze, smelling of sweet blossoms, salt and wild flowers, rustled the leaves of the trees. The world seemed to hum with a quiet, peaceful song as he climbed. The buzz of honeybees and the distant cry of gulls creating a natural symphony. Nephi felt his own heart grow still and calm with every step. He found a secluded place, a small clearing surrounded by ancient rocks, from where he could see the endless ocean stretching out to meet the sky. Here, in this cathedral of nature, he knelt down to pray, pouring out his heart in gratitude for his family's safety and pleading for guidance for the long journey that still lay ahead. After a time of deep and peaceful silence, the Lord spoke to Nephi. The voice did not come with thunder or a mighty wind, but as a still, small whisper that was softer than the breeze and clearer than the sound of the distant waves. It was a feeling as much as a sound, a perfect knowledge that filled his mind with light and his heart with an indescribable warmth, like the first rays of dawn spreading over a sleeping world. Nephi, the voice said with perfect love, arise and get thee into the mountain. And Nephi arose and went up, feeling led to an even higher place of solitude and peace. And the Lord said unto him, I want you to build a ship after the manner which I shall show thee. It will be a vessel of my own design, strong enough to carry your family across the great waters. I will guide you to a promised land, a land that is beautiful and green, a land of inheritance for your children, a place of peace where you may flourish. In Nephi's mind, a vision began to form, not of a simple boat, but of a magnificent vessel, unlike any he had ever seen, designed with divine wisdom to be both strong and exceedingly fine. A deep and quiet joy filled Nephi's soul, so profound it left no room for doubt. He felt only an overwhelming sense of trust and gratitude. He walked back down the mountain, his steps light, and looked at the world with new eyes. The tall, strong trees of the forest were no longer just trees. In his mind, he could see the Lord's vision for them. He saw the sturdy trunk that would become the mast, the curved branches that would form the ship's ribs, and the broad planks that would make a safe and sturdy hull. He saw not just a forest, but the Lord's own storehouse, filled with everything they would need. He knew the Lord would show him how to begin. He returned to his family's tents and told them of the Lord's command. His brothers Laman and Lemuel looked at him with disbelief. They folded their arms and their faces grew hard. A ship? Laman scoffed, his voice sharp. You think you can build a ship here, in the wilderness? We have never worked with wood like this. You are a fool. Lemuel added, and how would you steer such a thing? Or make a sail that could withstand the great winds? You do not know how to work such great timbers. We will not help you chase this foolish dream. Their words were sharp and unkind, meant to wound his spirit, but Nephi did not let their anger trouble his calm heart. He held the peace of the Lord within him, like a precious glowing stone. He looked at his brothers with love, not anger, and said gently, If the Lord has commanded me to do it, he will provide a way for me to accomplish it. He will give me knowledge beyond my own. He will be my guide and my strength. So Nephi began his quiet work. The Lord led him to a place where the rocks were heavy and dark. Nephi built a fire, and the flames danced softly in the sea breeze. He prayed, and the Lord showed him how to use the fire's heat to soften the stone and draw out the shining ore from within. He made bellows from the skins of animals, and the sound they made was like a deep, slow breath. Whoosh, whoosh. As he worked the metal, shaping it into tools, it felt as if the Lord was guiding his hands, showing him the hidden shapes within the glowing metal. The tools he created were unlike any he had seen before, perfectly balanced, strong, and beautiful. They felt like a gift, warm and right in his hands. Each morning, as the sun painted the sky in soft colours of rose and gold, Nephi would go down to the shore. His workshop was the clean, white sand. The sounds of his work became part of the ocean's song. The steady tap, tap, tap of his hammer on wood was like a heartbeat. The long, smooth swoosh, swoosh, swoosh of his saw cutting through the fine, strong timbers was like the sigh of the wind. And all the while, the waves of the sea seemed to whisper their own encouragement, hushing softly on the sand. Shh, shh, shh. He worked with a loving and patient heart, carefully fitting each piece of wood into its perfect place. The great ribs of the ship rose up from the sand, curving toward the sky like a promise. The planks lay against each other so perfectly that not even the smallest sliver of daylight could pass between them. The ship began to grow, day by day, not just as a construction of wood, but as a thing of beauty and grace. The sweet, clean scent of fresh-cut wood filled the air, mixing with the salty smell of the sea, a fragrance of peace and purpose. At first, his brothers would watch from a distance, their faces full of doubt, but as the days turned into weeks, they saw the miracle taking shape on the shore. They saw the strange and wonderful workmanship, and they knew that no man could do such a thing on his own. Their scorn slowly melted away, replaced by a quiet wonder. Soon they would come closer, sitting on the rocks to watch, their unkind words forgotten. One day, Laman, without a word, picked up a rope and held it steady for Nephi. Another day, Lemuel helped him lift a heavy timber. Slowly, they too began to work, their movements becoming part of the peaceful rhythm of the shore. A feeling of peace, as calm and deep as the sea itself, settled over the entire family as they worked together, watching the beautiful ship near completion. Finally, the day came when the last timber was set, the last peg driven. The great ship was finished. It rested on the shore, a masterpiece of faith, strong and ready. Its wood glowed warmly in the setting sun. Nephi walked around it, running his hand over the smooth, curved hull. He looked at the tall mast that pointed to the heavens and the sturdy deck that promised safety. A deep, calm happiness, like a warm tide, washed over him. He had listened to the still, small voice, and with the Lord's help, his hands had built a miracle. He gave thanks in his heart, a quiet prayer of gratitude for the strength and the knowledge he had been given. That night, the family gathered on the shore. The stars came out, one by one, until the sky was a blanket of shimmering diamonds. Under the gentle light of the moon, they guided the ship into the water. It slid across the wet sand with a deep sigh and entered the sea with a gentle splash. It floated perfectly, a dark, graceful shape on the silver sea. The water lapped against its sides with a soft, lulling sound. The ship rocked ever so slightly in the calm harbour. Back and forth, was a vessel of safety, a promise of peace, waiting to carry them to their new home across the great sleeping ocean. The family stood together on the shore, their work complete, their hearts full. And in the quiet of that sacred night, all was well.